everybody, and welcome to More Adventures. In today's adventure, we're going to be exploring the beautiful state of Michigan during fall. So sit back, relax, and let me show you how beautiful this state can be during my favorite season. First stop on today's adventure is Ypsilanti, Michigan at Wiardsorchard for their Run Scream Run 10K. This is one of my favorite runs in the state of Michigan. As you can see, it's very scenic, which makes it very easy to get other people to run it. Say what's up, Brian.
What's up?
The run ends at their haunted forest, and they actually have a couple ghouls running around trying to scare you. But don't worry, they're not too aggressive, and it is daylight. But for a reward for running this 10K, you do get to get some delicious Wiards cider milled donuts. And the pumpkin patch makes for a great photo backdrop. Then it's up north across the mighty Mack to go to Mackinaw City for some fun fall adventures in the state of Michigan. Mackinaw City has a family-friendly scarecrow walk, but we're not here for that. We're here for Pancake Chef, one of the best places to get pancakes in the state of Michigan, and you will get a lot of bang for your buck. You can't finish this stack of chocolate chip pancakes. Just remember, Mackinaw City is a tourist area, so the prices will be a tad bit higher, but you do get a ton of food. Then it's off to the Upper Peninsula to hike the Tahquamenon Falls. Hey everybody, this is More Adventures coming to you from the Tahquamenon Falls Trail. We're hiking from the lower to the upper and then back again. It's about 8 miles, not too bad, very scenic and beautiful, so come along for the adventure. As you can see, the trail is very clearly marked and it's very difficult to get lost during the daytime. But there's a lot of elevation changes and it is uneven ground, so it is a challenging hike and you should be prepared. Even during the so-called off-season, you will see many people on the trail as it is very popular. During their peak season, which is about mid-May through mid-October, they actually have a shuttle that will take you from the lower to the upper and back again, so you don't have to do the 8-mile round trip if you choose not to. The Upper Falls is definitely the more popular of the two, but there is a bunch of beautiful things to do and see down in the Lower Falls. The Upper Falls area is open year-round, but the Lower Falls facility shut down in mid-October. As you can see in this video, there is a lot of elevation changes, as I stated earlier, and there is zero cell phone service. So make sure that you are ready for this kind of challenge. Most of the trail is very well maintained, as you can see by the steps, but there are a few bridges that are out. Perfect example, it's canted to the side, so you have to be a little careful when you're crossing. But we won't let that stop us because adventure's in our name. All that work leads you some beautiful views of the river. Here's a More Adventures tip. Make sure you're prepared for this hike. It's only 8 miles round trip, but it is very challenging. A lot of the hike takes place inside the forest and not along the river, so just be prepared for that. But all that up and down inside the forest will prepare you for beautiful views like this. And as you get closer to the falls, you will definitely be able to hear the roar of the water. This is actually the bridge that connects the little island in the middle of the Lower Falls. It used to be only accessible by kayak, but now you can actually walk over and do a little hike around the Lower Falls. As you can see, this is a view that was only available when you took a kayak. This is the other lookout point of the Lower Falls, and it's along the main trail. And I highly recommend going over to the island for some beautiful picture opportunities. And visiting the island allows you to get much closer to the falls. And if you like this video and like to see some more, then think about hitting that thumbs up button and subscribe. And through the magic of editing, just like that, we're at the Upper Falls. As you can see, it's much larger and more impressive than the lower. So you'll definitely see larger crowds at the upper. Then it's off to Mackinaw City via Shepler's Ferry. There are multiple daily ferries from Mackinaw City and St. Ignace. The ferries drop you off right in the heart of downtown on Main Street. There are many shops and restaurants up and down Main Street. And you will find multiple shops selling the world-famous Mackinaw Island fudge in a variety of flavors. Now, you may feel like you've stepped back in time. And can you tell what's different on Mackinaw than other places? That's right, there's an automobile ban for the last 125 years. One of the few places in the United States where cars are not allowed. As you can see, it's not very busy because we're here in the off season, but take a look at those views up in the hills. The spectacular fall foliage show is in full effect. The island is only 8.2 miles all the way around. Bike rentals are available up and down Main Street if you'd like to take this beautiful ride around the entire island. And right in the heart of downtown up the hill is Fort Mackinaw itself. And that's another more adventurous tip. Mackinaw Island, even though it's not very big, is very hilly. So bike rides and walking will be a tad bit challenging if you have mobility issues. But if you'd really like to immerse yourself in the Mackinaw Island experience, horse-drawn carriages are available to take you to all of the tourist spots. Right down from the fort on Main Street is St. Anne Catholic Church. It was established in 1670 and still beautiful today. This is a view from the Arch Rock Lookout. It's a fantastic view of the Straits of Mackinac. It even has an informative plaque to let you know how it was formed over hundreds of years and how this geological formation is still standing today. It's definitely worth a visit for these spectacular views, which also make great photo opportunities. And here's a more adventurous tip. Think about coming in early May or mid-October. Not only will it be much cheaper, and Mackinac Island can be very pricey during the summer, but you will also not have to deal with any large crowds. Unfortunately, at the end of the season, they are building some modern facilities at Arch Rock, so the only way to see this formation is up and down all these stairs. Normally, during the summer season, you will have the opportunity to ride a bike or take a horse-drawn carriage. And now it's a stop at Fort Mackinac. And our first stop is the reading room or library in the fort. Why is that? Because we're with the famous Wanderlust with Literature. Make sure to check out our Instagram. You can definitely tell from these views the strategic importance of this fort, especially in defense of the Mackinac Straits. In 1895, the fort was decommissioned for military use and turned over to the state of Michigan. Fun fact, it is the very first state park in Michigan. Now these panoramic views of downtown Mackinac and the marina are enjoyed by millions of tourists each year. And no matter the season, the views from Fort Mackinac make for breathtaking photo opportunities. And as always, do I know how to make a segue? And this view is from the Fort Mackinac Tea Room, which you can sit outside on this beautiful balcony during the summer months. They still have costume reenactments here on the main field of the fort. So let's take one last look at those panoramic and gorgeous views from the top of the fort before we explore more of this beautiful island. There are a few other great tourist destinations here on this island, and as you can see here, none of them are that far. But because it's fall and the spooky season, we're on our way down to the cemetery. These beautiful stone arches mark one of the entrances to St. Anne Cemetery. St. Anne Cemetery is one of 3 cemeteries on Mackinac Island. These arches were built in 1924, so they've been standing for almost 100 years. St. Anne Cemetery has been around since the 19th century, so you will definitely see many graves from the 1800s. And the oldest known resident of St. Anne Cemetery is Mary Biddle, who was buried in 1833. And the oldest of the 3 cemeteries on the island is the Fort Mackinac Post Cemetery. This cemetery contains graves of both American and British soldiers from the War of 1812. Unfortunately, graves were only marked with wooden crosses that have decayed, and only 39 out of 108 are known. Just a short distance from the Post Cemetery is Skull Cave. It gets its menacing name from Alexander Henry's memoir, a survivor of the Pontiac War in 1763 who spent a night in the cave to wake up in the morning to realize to his horror he had been sleeping on a bed of skulls. And since we just did a tour of a cemetery during the Halloween season, how could you expect me not to share a scary story? After a fun-filled day with beautiful views like this, it's off to the famous Pink Pony for lunch. And yes, I had the horses in this shot for a reason. Great sandwiches and drinks are at the Pink Pony, and during the summer months, they have live music on the marina. So make sure if you're in Mackinac Island to give it a try. But you don't have to travel too far in the state of Michigan for some beautiful fall hikes like this. This one's located in our own backyard, and Hades agrees it's a fantastic hike. And yes, this is the introduction of our German shepherd, Hades. Hades may be a scary name, but he is a gentle giant. As you can tell from this video, even the deer aren't afraid of this big fella. He's not even 2 years old yet, so he's still a giant puppy. But he is a perfect companion for fall, winter, spring, or summer hikes. Any time of the year, Hades is ready to go. And this is another spectacular view of that fall explosion of colors from the leaves changing. That night, it's off to downtown Plymouth for Scarecrows in the Park. It's great seeing all the creative scarecrows put up by the local businesses. It's a fun, free stroll around Kellogg's Park where you can check out all the scarecrows. And it's a great way to have a family-friendly, fun time around the Halloween season. As you can see, it has Hades and Louise's stamp of approval. And as a little bonus, you can see that Hades finished his first Halloween-themed 5K. Well, that's it for this adventure, and I really want to thank you for coming along and letting me show you how beautiful Michigan can be during the fall. Of course, if you follow the channel, you know there's many more adventures in store. And if you don't follow the channel, what are you waiting for? Because as we always say here, life is short. Have more adventures. On the next episode of More Adventures...